Salam, salam, salam. Welcome to the Let's Talk Sis podcast. My name is Mary Delahun, aka TheSudopian, and I am your host. If you are a new listener, welcome to the family. This is a podcast where we talk all things, everything, and we don't hold back. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. The purpose of this podcast is to inspire, affirm, and uplift you through sharing my journey. This to me is a space where I share my growth, lessons, and experiences with you in hopes that you can take a little piece of it with you and apply it in some way. So let's talk, sis. Excuse my voice. It is literally midnight right now, and I got the urge to just record this episode, so here I am. Where do I start? God, I haven't done this in a while. Let me start with the title of this podcast, actually. So I've been actually considering possibly changing the name of this podcast because I'm finding that we have an equal amount of male listeners, actually, if not more, than we do female listeners. And I no longer want to cater to a specific audience and instead allow this to be a space where all are welcome. Everyone is welcome. When I initially started this podcast, I wanted to target a very specific audience, right? And that was millennial women who I most identify with. But looking at the data, I noticed such a diverse group of listeners, and I love that. And I don't want to place any limitations on myself, my voice, and this podcast. There's something in here for everyone, and I welcome you. I welcome every single one of you. Again, it's not a final decision or anything. It's just a thought for now. This is something that I really need to think on and pray over before I make that decision. So, yeah. I know we go through this a lot where I apologize for my absence and not putting out any episodes because I'm on like a hiatus or whatever. But sis, life just happened, you know. Life just does its thing, and I was practicing being more present in the moment, and I think that's actually what today's episode will be about. I say I think because I don't necessarily have any talking points or notes. I'm just kind of going off the dome, but let me talk my smack. I've let my promotions distract me from my purpose. Let me say that again. I've allowed my promotions to distract me from the big picture or my purpose. I don't know if I ever shared this with any of you on this podcast or on a previous episode or anything, so hopefully I'm not repeating myself, but to sort of paint the picture for you, this year I got a new apartment. I started a new business in logistics. I got an actual promotion at work. I got into a new relationship. What else? Oh, I've lost like 47 pounds this year alone. So that's a lot. That's a lot of change. And I mean, all of that is really a lot. I appreciate and I adore each and every one of these good things that's come my way. But I mean, all of this happened within like a matter of 2 months. Not necessarily my health journey. That's ongoing. But just to kind of give you a glimpse, man, like that's a lot of change in such a small amount of time. And man, I felt like Big Sean when he said blessings on blessings on blessings. That's honestly how I felt. It's all so beautiful and wonderful, and I love each and every one of these great changes that happened for me or to me. So back to my talking point of what did I say earlier? Letting my promotions distract me from my purpose, or better yet, I guess I should say finding my purpose or refinding my purpose. With all the changes happening for me in life, I was truly, how do you say? I was in my season of joy. I'm still in my season of joy, actually. And I'm extremely grateful for all of these changes because I prayed for these things to come into my life, and I was very specific in my prayer requests, right? However, once it started to come to fruition and falling literally into my lap, I think that I became so wrapped up in taking all of these changes in and placing it on this pedestal that I got comfortable and deprioritized the work that I was putting in to get these good things in my life. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. And y'all, I just figured this out. And my podcast is actually a perfect example. Look at me holding myself accountable. Go ahead, girl. So I placed my podcast on the back burner, right? Because of all the promotions that took place in my life. And I was just making excuse after excuse after excuse. And this is actually the perfect, simple example. So to be transparent, not even for y'all, but for myself, sis, I got comfortably wrapped up in the good and being present and soaking it in that I almost forgot about the literal blood, sweat, and tears that I was putting in to be where I am. And once I got to that place, I think that I faded away from doing the root work that I needed to continue doing. I have truly realized over the last few months, I'll say, that my strongest attribute or superpower, if you will, is the way that I pour into things that I love most. In this case, I guess I'll talk about the people in my life. So because it's just in my natural element to nurture and look after and overall just, I guess, the way that I show love to people by pouring into them where and when I possibly can, I got so wrapped up in that I was pouring into everything and everyone but myself. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. Instead, I'm saying this in a way where I'm learning myself. And I know that this is an area of my life that requires some more love and more work. Because I received these blessings, I guess I was so focused on keeping these blessings in my life by doing everything for it and not as much for me. I was giving the max to everything, but giving myself the bare minimum. And that's not fair. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to the people around me. Because I know that when I prioritize myself and really give myself more time to learn, instead of being so wrapped up in the rainbows, everything and everyone else gets the best version of me. I guess I got so caught up by the beauty of the rainbow that I almost forgot that there's more. I almost forgot that there's like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and that I could get there if I just keep putting in the work, right? And I don't know if that was a good analogy. Yeah. Again, it's like midnight and I've been up since like 5 a.m. today. I ran in a 5K. I've really just had a full day. So I don't know if that was a good analogy. I hope it made sense. But I digress. So what I was trying to say is that we work so hard to get something, right? And once we do, we get distracted by how great it is that we forget about what it took to get there. And in my case, before everything came, I remember how hard I was grinding. Not to say that I'm not grinding by any means right now. I just know that I'm capable of doing more. I should be doing more. And, excuse me, I think that it's easy to be, so invested in your season of joy, so much that you focus so heavily on being present and taking it all in, right? But in doing that, you leave opportunity to place yourself second because you're wrapped up in all these good things and wanting to be present in all of it and wanting to take it all in. I get that. So for me, when I'm pouring into others in any way, shape, or form in the moment, I don't realize just how much I'm doing. Because again, it's just in my nature. It's like when God was creating me, he took this gallon-sized container of this overextending tendency and just dumped it in that pot of whatever I am. And so I know that I have this tendency to overextend myself at times, and that's not necessarily the problem, because that's just who I am. That's just how I was formulated, and I don't want to change that. But the problem is when I do all this overextending, when I do all this pouring into, when I am being available for everything and everyone, and I'm not reciprocating that for myself. I don't mirror that for me. I'm able to do it for everything around me, for everyone, with no hesitation, with no second guessing or anything, but I haven't really been doing that for myself. So I asked myself, in what ways can I pour into me some more? Because I'm happy, right? And if I'm so happy, why do I feel like this is a problem? And I truly am happy. I don't want what I'm saying to be misconstrued in any way or to be misunderstood. I'm not by any means saying that. I'm very happy. I love where I am right now in life, and I take it all in every single day, and I'm grateful for it. But yeah, so when I ask myself these questions, when I ask myself, how can I pour into myself more, and what do I need to do? It's really not that complicated. In fact, it's simple, because I know for a fact that when I intentionally make room for me, whether that's having some time to myself or whatever, if I just need like a self-care day or a day to just unplug and just be alone or whatever, or I don't know, to give an example, like going out and buying myself a new plant or reading or doing yoga, I know that I'm giving myself time to really just see more beauty in what I have. And that feeling is so refreshing. I know that when I pour into myself just as much as I give to everything else, I'm giving the best version of myself to those around me, and they deserve that. And I'm always asking myself, how can I be a better daughter? How can I be a better sister, a better manager, a better leader in my job, better at my career? How do I become a better lover or a better partner? I find myself back at square one when I try to answer these questions, and it's by taking time for me, taking time to reflect, taking time to analyze and process and inspect and digest and investigate my emotions, my thought process, my actions. And I do all of that so that I can better identify the areas that I need to work on. And when I'm in go, go, go mode, where I'm being present and I'm receiving or giving, I'm doing myself and everyone around me a disservice, because they could and should be getting the best version of me. But I know for a fact that I cannot give them that until I give it to myself. So let me just go on and be real. I got into a small disagreement with someone in my life recently. Today. And it was one of those situations where I found myself just all day asking, what could I have done better? Or, just me trying to understand my emotions. And I had a real adult moment, y'all. I had a real adult moment where I asked myself if I was placing the responsibility of my happiness into someone else in any way. If I unconsciously was doing that and not knowing if that's what I was doing. I guess the fact that I asked myself that kind of made me realize, girl, let's do more. Let's get back to the work that we were putting in. It was almost like a gentle reminder for me to get back to doing all the things that I was doing before all these blessings came into my life, right? And as much as I, again, appreciate all of these blessings that I receive, and I hold it very near and dear to my heart, I also know that I shouldn't have stopped with doing the work that I was doing prior to these blessings flooding into my life, right? And I had a very real moment where I asked myself if I was placing the responsibility of my happiness into anyone else's hands, unintentionally, of course. And I guess just asking myself that made me realize that there's room for improvement. There's room for improvement, and I need to figure out where I need to make these improvements. Having that moment, sitting myself down, asking myself these questions, trying to figure out the answers to these questions really helped me see that I value me time. because the fact that I'm able to even sit and try to figure these things out, that helps me. That helps me become more self-aware, more understanding of myself, understanding of my thought process. And that's what it's about, being able to constantly learn who you are, learn why you do what you do, why you think the way that you do, why you feel the way that you do. And all of that comes with not allowing your promotions to distract you from your purpose or the path that you're on, right? Because it's so easy to see all the good, the shiny, the beauty on the outside, and we get sidetracked and we forget about that deep work that we have to do in the core. And I'm so glad that I had this realization today. I'm so glad for the confusion that I felt, the little bit of anger, the joy that I felt, the tears that I cried today. I appreciate that because it centered me. It helped me come back to my purpose, which is to keep working and to keep making these improvements and to not just be distracted and to not just be stuck and focused on taking it all in without really giving to myself the way that I give to everything else, right? I hope this made sense. It's like 1 a.m. now and my brain is fried, y'all. But I really just I felt called to speak on this, to speak my mind, to speak my heart, and yeah, so thank you for tuning in. There's no sis chat segment in this episode. This is more of like a bonus episode of me just ranting and venting and I don't know, whatever we call it. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the words of encouragement for me to really hop back on and do what I love doing. And I am redirecting my focus and continuing to improve, working on my purpose. And I appreciate you all.